Welcome to episode 4 of Fit Life Journeys. This is the podcast where we dispel myths of diet culture and talk about the real truth behind living a fit life. In order to do that, we bring on real people and talk about their journeys. Today's guests are a couple of queens and coaches here at Fit Life Gym, Kari and Teeha. If you're not watching the video version of this, you just missed out on, I don't know if it was good or not, but it was certainly funny to me. It was amazing. If you are only listening to this, you're missing out on some queens in their crowns right now. But anyway, we're going to talk with these queens today about things like first beginner boot camp jitters, motherhood, mom guilt, as Kari called it before we started here, and then the difference between strong and skinny. And that's I think, a thing for a lot of women that has changed over the years, this initial urge to be skinny and then finding out there's a lot of other cool things to be as well. So ladies, thank you both for joining me here today in your fabulous crowned glory.
Thank you for having us.
Agreed. Thank you for having us.
They both have crowns on, so neither one of them is sure who's supposed to talk first.
Technically, I'm a princess. She's the queen.
I was going to say, based on the style of that's a crown and that's a tiara,
yes.
So technically,
yes.
Teeha is the queen, Kari is the princess, and Teeha gets to talk first. But I own the place, so I really get to talk first.
That's right.
Okay, so we're going to start simple. Because, look, the podcast is called Fit Life Journeys, so the first thing I want to do is talk about your journey, how you discovered fitness and health and why it's important to you. So I guess the queen is going to get to go first.
Oh, okay.
So just tell me a little bit, Teeha, about your journey and how you ended up at Fit Life Gym as a member.
Okay. So we'll go a little further back to get to the present. Okay. So I have always grown up as the big one in my family. So my cousins, my sister, very thin, petite, and I was the heavier one. Although looking back now, it wasn't, heavy per se, but compared to everybody else in my family, I was the big one. So I always had that, she's got a good personality. She's got a pretty face.
You have a terrible face and personality.
Thank
what
you.
were they talking about?
They were just lying to me completely.
I'm kidding.
But I, grew up feeling, kind of inadequate in that sense. Let's fast forward, say 10, 15-ish years. Get out of college, working, still not working out or anything. But then my mom at 65 has a heart attack and passes away. And at that point, I realized, I don't want to die at 65 because of a heart attack. And, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, all that runs in my family. And I'm like, well, there's something I personally can do to prevent that. So I started working out. I've been to several different gyms. Nothing kind of felt right. I kind of like having a community atmosphere. So the gym I was at before I got here, there was a member there. She started coming here. And then she's like, you know what? I think you would really like this place that I'm at now. So why don't you just come join me for a boot camp? And I'm like, okay. I was very nervous coming in. This was, pre-COVID. The gym is packed full of people. I'm like, I only know this one person in here, but I'm going to come. Okay. It's completely different from anything that I've ever done. But I loved it. And I loved the energy, and everybody was very supportive. So after that, I was hooked. I've been here ever since. So it's like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
God, that's 5 years ago.
Wow.
And I'm still here. And I love it. So, yeah, that's what basically brought me here. Your turn.
My turn.
Yeah, your turn, Princess Kari.
Maybe this is why we get along so well, because I also grew up, I had mostly male cousins. I have an older sister and an older brother. But I've always been, I feel like I came out of the womb like this tall. I was always the tallest in my class. My parents kind of like pushed, not forced us, but like directed us towards athletics. So I've always participated in, of course, basketball and volleyball. And that's kind of the narrative I heard my whole life. Well, you're tall, so you have to play basketball. You have to play volleyball.
Right.
I went to my orientation for high school, and I was still in 8th grade, and the basketball coach made a beeline for me, was like, you're trying out for basketball. I was like, okay. Now, I am not the most athletic person. Like, I have to work extra hard. Like, my motor planning, like, I work really hard on my movement patterns. So I'm not like a naturally athletic person, but I've always been the tall one, the big one, but also kind of like the clumsy one.
Yeah.
And although like through sports, and I've always kind of worked out my entire life, I did do swimming. That was the one sport that I did excel at, and it's still one of my favorites. I've also, I still do boxing at home. I love hitting things, in case you guys haven't noticed that. I love boxing. I love swimming. I always kind of stayed active. However, it's interesting because I've gone through like phases in my life where I've been heavier. This is hard to envision, but I had a point in my life where I was a size 6. I was tiny, like skinny, but I like to call it like skinny unhealthy, because you could see through my skin was paper. Like I
was going to say, I didn't even think your bones were size 6.
Right.
So.
I was in college. I was working 2 jobs. I was volunteering 15 hours a week. I was carrying 18 credit hours, and I was on the Diet Coke diet. Diet Coke for breakfast, Diet Coke for lunch, and then dinner. I was exhausted. I felt like shit all the time. I was that size when I met my husband. We met in college. And it's so funny because now, like after we had dated for a while, we've been together for a year. He was like, when I first met you, I loved that you were tall, but I thought you were so skinny. And I eventually got back to what I called like a healthier weight. And he's like, but I thought you kind of looked almost sickly when I first met you, like really pale, not. And he's like, you look much healthier now. So I've been like at both ends of the spectrum. And then through having kids, and as I've gotten older, my focus has shifted. Obviously, when I was younger, I was like, I want to work out because I want to look a certain way. I want to work out because I want to be mobile. My dad has some neurological issues and arthritis, and he gets up every morning, and still he works out every day. He goes for walks every day. My mom too. They're both really active. And so I want to have that mobility because I'm afraid if I stop, I'm going to have issues. I have spinal stenosis. I had back surgery. When I was like way back. It was like I had just turned 30. I had a toddler and a very clingy baby at home. I had numbness in both of my legs, and I was dragging my right foot into my surgery. I had a drop foot. So that scared the crap out of me. And the doctor said, we don't know how this happened. You have the spine of an 80-year-old woman. That's what every 30-year-old wants to hear, right? So after that surgery, the one thing he said to me that stuck was, you can't gain weight. If you gain weight, you're going to end up back in my OR, and you're going to have a spinal fusion. That'll be the next step. And I don't want rods in my back. Right. I'd like to stay mobile. So I once I was able to get back to exercise, I focused on swimming. I worked with a couple personal trainers that were just okay, although it was interesting because when I started at Fit Life, there were so many exercises that I was not doing correctly, especially like with the kettlebells. And looking back, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I should not have been doing said exercises because they were not taught to me correctly.
By the other personal trainers?
By the other personal trainers, not the trainers here, by the other personal trainers elsewhere.
Well, it's tricky. It's one thing, like the amount of actual studying, and you guys know this because you're coaches now, the amount of actual studying you need to call yourself a personal trainer is very minor. Yeah. So there can be good ones and bad ones out there.
Yeah.
You have to have somebody that actually wants to learn and get better to find the really good ones. Yeah. So that doesn't surprise me too much. But we'll get into the whole exercise thing later. Kari's trying to answer every question in her.
I'm almost finished. I promise. Let's move on. You will listen to every word I have to say. Every single word, people. So Coach MJ actually about 2.5 years ago, handed me a 30-day trial certificate for this place and said, like, looked me square in the eye and said, I know you'll use this and put it to good use. You will not squander it away. I was like, okay, I guess I'm trying this. I am not shy, as some of you may know. I make friends pretty easily. So when I came in,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I walked into my first session, and I don't think MJ was here, but I think Shelly was here, and we were friends prior to this. But it was just Shelly, and I just walked into my row, and I was like, here I am, and they introduced me, and I was like, woo, let's do this, let's go. Like, what you see now as a coach, that's how I am when I work out. And I was hooked after my first workout. I mean, the energy, the people, the coaching, the things that I got, and the feeling that I had after I finished that first workout, walking out of here, I was like, I can't wait to go back and do that again. It was hard work.
Yeah.
But it was fun. The other thing that was the draw for me was it was 40 minutes. I'm not spending 2.5 hours at the gym trying to figure out, did I hit head, shoulders, knees and toes, and then get my cardio in too. And let's not forget about my abs.
Right.
It's overwhelming to go to the gym by yourself, and even with a trainer, to try and figure out, you're there for like 2 hours. I don't have time for that. So 40 minutes in and out, feeling like that, walking out of here, I was hooked.
And it's so funny because that's supposed to be a draw. The time is supposed to be one of the things that look like, oh, I can do it really fast.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get people, there's so much stuff that is said online or ingrained in people's heads of like things that they think is fact. And they'll be like, I wish this was longer. Shouldn't it be longer? I should have to work out for like 2 hours in order to get a good workout, right? Like, we'll get people like that. Oh, your workouts are too short. Like, no.
You get into it.
Yeah.
You get out of it what you put into
Yes.
it. So if you are going at the pace and intensity that is right for you, then you're not going to feel that way after 40 minutes.
40
like,
minutes is enough.
Dear Jesus, are we done yet? Please.
And I'm always like, well, our coaches seem to get a lot out of it. And I'm pretty sure they're, like, if one of you guys came to me and said this workout was too easy, I would take it very seriously.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever said those words to you.
No.
Never.
Because you know how to make it harder.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So usually if a member says that was too easy, I'm like, okay, let's talk about how to make it harder. Because it's only easy because maybe you don't know how to modify something up, a different weight to grab, whatever. You guys know. So you're not going to let it be too easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Even when I try, I can't.
Right.
I won't let you.
You guys, coaches are the worst at modifying. So it's like you walk in here and it's like,
I'm going to take it easy today. And then I'm like going,
you have to tell everyone. You have to tell the entire room, I'm taking it easy today. I can use heavier weights than this. I'm choosing not to.
I swear I can. Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Although if you're me, you have Coach Kari following you around going, stop going so hard. You said you were going late today.
Protect your back.
I know, we're trying to protect my
Try to
back.
protect you and keep you safe.
That's why Coach Kari is also Coach Mom.
I was going to say, I'm Coach Mom.
But you guys are both my mom. I got Coach Mom and Sober Mom
I'm
over
sober
here.
Mom.
Not because she's sober, but because she can.
Laugh so hard at that.
It's because she can.
What are you trying to say, Kari?
It's because she can drink more than the rest of us and still
keep my wits about me.
Yes.
Yeah, she's the adult.
Yes.
The rest of us are not adulting. She is always adulting.
I'm making sure you are okay outside of here.
Appreciate you.
Oh man, I had a margarita with MJ the other night, and I was like, "This is one margarita, and I'm in trouble."
Yeah,
it's a good thing that conversation wasn't recorded. I also hadn't seen her in barely seen her in the last month and a half, so it was just like,
yeah.
A good catch up.
Yeah, all the things we had to say, all the things.
Yeah,
it was a good time.
Yeah,
and drink margaritas and eat Mexican food.
Mm-hmm.
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 I want a margarita and Mexican food. Okay,
right. That can always happen later. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll add that to my podcast, but then these poor people will just be listening to like chomp, 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 chomp. Yeah. Nom, 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 nom. Okay, next question.
Okay.
Very serious.
Yes.
Very serious.
Yes.
No, not at all.
Okay.
What made you decide you wanted to become a coach? Where does that switch from I'm doing this for me to I want to help others come from?
I've kind of always, once I started my fitness journey, I was always interested in it, And me personally, I don't see a lot of people like me as coaches. So
Queens?
that too.
Amazing people.
Yes.
Okay.
For those
All
people that
those
are
things.
listening and can't see you,
Oh,
can you give me a little
because
more
I'm an African American woman, and I don't look like the average coach or what people think a coach should look like. I'm not stick thin and just ripped. But when
I've seen your abs a time or two.
yeah, they're in there.
And you are
they're shy sometimes, but they're there. But when I came here and read Josh's story, that resonated with me because he understands what it takes to come from like well over 200 pounds down to a healthy weight. And, the people, the trainers I had been with before, didn't seem to understand that.
Right.
And it was always like, just do this and you'll get there. Just do this. But, there are other things that are involved in that. So, having representation, being interested in learning like the science of it as well, because I like to know why things work the way they do. So having that and like having the opportunity to help people makes me so happy. When somebody can like finally do a push-up from their toes, that excites me. That makes me so freaking happy. I just want to, celebrate it.
It's funny how you get just excited for other people as you do for yourself when it happened for you.
Yes, and I love that. And just making those connections with people, that's what drew me to this here. Now, not saying that I will. I don't think I will ever leave this place. You'll probably have to roll my cold, dead body out of here. But I don't think I would want to coach anywhere else because this place is special and is different. I love it. I love the way we do things here. Yes. Okay.
That's why you're here.
That's right.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
Before you start, Kari, the one thing that I thought was interesting, you talked about learning.
Yes.
Coaches are nerds. When you're outside of it, you might think like coaches are jocks.
Right.
Because it's athletic and physical or whatever. Y'all are nerds.
Right.
Yes.
Which I love it. I am also a nerd. We have 2 new coaches in training right now. They're teachers.
Yes.
They want to learn and they want to teach, and this is a
Yes.
similar kind of thing. It's a little different, but
Right.
it's coaches are nerds.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we're kind of teachers with. I don't think I could be a teacher, but here you are a teacher with people that want to learn what you're teaching them. Like in school, half the people don't want to be there.
Yeah.
I would hate that.
Yeah.
But I love teachers. Bless your hearts.
Right.
Yes.
You have the patience of a saint. But I like this kind of teaching.
And for the most part, people want to be here. You'll sometimes get somebody who doesn't. Maybe that day,
right?
They're here because they know they're supposed to, and they don't necessarily feel it, and then you kind of have to do your thing to try and help them get over that.
Yeah. By the end, they are happy that they came.
Like Kari's T-shirt says,
"Yes,
I am nicer after I work out."
That's right.
In Josh's old gym in Chicago, they had a slogan, and it was like, "You're only one workout away from a good mood."
Yes.
And I used to be very contrary. I still am sometimes. But anyway, so I would walk in there and be like, if I want to be in a good mood, which after a while I realized was like the dumbest thing. No, I would purposefully keep myself in a bad mood through the whole workout just to make their slogan wrong. Yes, that is the kind of thing I will do.
You're so stubborn.
Oh, am I?
A little bit.
Oh, okay. Anyway, at some point I realized I'm just like kicking myself in the head. I'm only hurting myself.
Right.
So then I started working on that aspect of me.
Yeah.
Which is why I now scream "Feed the Wolf" louder than any other person in here.
Yeah.
Get into it. Yeah. Embrace it.
But this is another place where my stubborn side comes out because I want to stare at every person in the room and challenge them to scream as loud as I do.
Sometimes I'll make you do a repeat. I don't think it's loud enough. I'm like, we could do better than that.
We always repeat.
Yes.
It doesn't hit my spirit.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. When everybody's really loud.
We can talk about the Martin Rooney of that. I might have talked to MJ about it, but we'll try and if I remember. But let's get back to you guys.
Yes.
You're who we're here for.
Okay.
I'm just running the conversation. This is all about you. That's why you have the crowns on.
I need a shirt that says I am one workout shy of a criminal act, because if I don't,
I can make that for you.
I do.
Right?
I just thought of that, and I was like, he's going to make me a shirt, because if I don't work out, it's because I want to physically feel good and be healthy and strong.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It is more so for my mental health. We've talked about this to the point that my own family would be like, oh, did you skip your workout today? Because maybe you should go to the gym. Because you're a little on edge. Yeah.
And I think that'll come up in our mom guilt conversation later. It's like the reverse.
Yep.
The reverse, when your family starts to realize that you going to the gym and getting your workout in is actually better than you being home all the time and trying to kill them.
Right. It's a win-win.
So,
yes, it is.
So Princess Kari.
Okay. So my journey into becoming a coach. So about a month before I started at Fit Life, I had finished up actually my group exercise certification. And then I had gone on to obtain a level 1 boxing, like a fitness boxing certification, which is something I never in a million years, like I really had to push myself. I've been taking boxing sessions somewhere else, and the instructor had reached out to me and said, I think you should be a coach. You'd be really good, which again, it was the first time someone said that to me, and I went like over my shoulder and talking to me, like, because I, like, you felt like all of the not enoughs. I'm not fit enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not this. I don't look like what you would think in your head like a trainer would look like. I'm not skinny. I'm not, I'm not fit enough. So fast forward then to October of this past year, because I had been with the gym. It'll be 3 years for me in February.
Right, because you started like 2 weeks before COVID.
I started like 2 weeks right before shutdown. So then shutdown happened. The place that I was set up to teach boxing shut down because they couldn't survive COVID. We came back eventually. I just stayed here and never did anything with the group exercise because there was really nothing else that I wanted to do at my other gym. They're like, well, why don't you teach Zumba? I was like, have you seen me move my feet? Let's not talk about that. They were trying to talk me into doing something different, and it just didn't. Something was holding me back. And so in October, there was a member who said to me a couple times, she was like, you should be a coach. You should be a coach. And I was like, I can't be a coach. They're not going to want me to coach. And I had thought about it, but again, Shauna reached out to me, and I read the message 10 times because I was like looking over my shoulder. Like,
was it that same member that mentioned you to me?
Yes.
Okay.
And it was Tammy Andrews. Thank you, Tammy, because I probably wouldn't be here if you had not.
Yeah,
done that.
we were on a coaching search, and she said to me, she's like, there's some people at the gym who should really be coaches, and I don't know why you're not hiring them. And I said, well, I don't know who you're talking about. Please tell me. Like, I'm not psychic. Like,
you just know these things?
Actually, I am a little psychic, but not that psychic. And then she said, Kari Tackett, and I said, holy shit, you're right. So.
Yeah, but I still felt even like it was a lot of nudging from like you, and I think Coach Matt overheard one of our conversations and was like, you 100% should be doing this, and you do, because I was like, I don't belong here. I'm like, are you sure? I even asked you the first time we met. I'm like, are you sure about this? And then I said, you must be desperate for coaches. I literally said, like, when I think back of all things that I said, I was like,
that's either here or
not that desperate.
Yeah. And my husband really encouraged me. He was like, you have always wanted to do this. And my background is, I went to school to be a child life specialist, which is someone that gets like preps kids for surgeries in hospitals and deals with like all the psychological issues that go along with like long-term illnesses. And then from there, I worked in early intervention. So I was a service coordinator for children with special needs. And so I've always been in the helping profession, and this kind of fits because it combines like two things that I love. I love helping people, and I love exercise.
Yeah.
So
that's perfect.
This was like the perfect fit. It's still, though, even a couple months into coaching like so low. Like the whole time through my training, I had moments where I was like, I shouldn't be doing this. I don't think I'm strong enough. I'm not good enough. Like I shouldn't be doing this. And up until like maybe 2 months ago is when I really just started to feel comfortable. Like, yeah, I can do this. I should be doing this. I love doing this. And I feel like I'm getting better every day at this. I still have a lot to learn. I mean, there's always stuff to learn, but I've learned so much already that I'm comfortable. And I can honestly say, like, I've always loved what I've done, but this is the first job where I am like, and don't take this the wrong way because I still need to get paid, but I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this. Like, you're going to pay me money to come here and hang out with these people and get to be my spazzy self on the floor? Like, this is great.
She was actually surprised when I first started paying her. We probably could have got her whole
you could have got a deal
training experience for free.
You could have swindled that out of me easily. Yeah, so that's my journey in a nutshell.
So what's funny is like there's an aspect to being a coach of looking a certain way and having a certain level of fitness, especially because what we do here, most of our members want to lose weight.
Yes. So
if they see a coach who can't lose weight, there's a thing in their head of like, how is this person able to help me?
Right.
You guys have both proven the ability to do the thing. I mean, that's really it. It's about doing like the practicing what you preach.
Yes.
Right. Being consistent. And being transparent, because like I always say, like I've really struggled the last few years. I'm not actually a coach on the floor. We probably would have had to kick me off if I was, because of the struggles that I've had with my weight over the last 3 years. But that's where I always come back to the transparency. It's like, if I can't like do the thing or practice what I preach right now, I can at least talk about why it's where the struggles come from, how I try to work through them, that sort of thing.
Right.
But for you two, it's like, it's energy, it's doing the activities. As long as you can show them everything they need to do, as long as you can do it, you can coach it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a fitness model to be a fitness coach.
Well, and that was the other thing. When I started here, this was the first place that I've worked out that talked to me about nutrition. It wasn't like you said, you'd go to a trainer, you'd go to a class, and they would say, oh, just do this, just exercise. Sometimes they throw in a eat right. And I thought I was, quote, eating right when I started here, and I was not eating right. Like what I thought was like clean eating was not clean eating. And it took me, like when I started the nutrition program, when Josh told me the amount of protein I was supposed to be eating, I looked at him and I was like, what? Like I'm supposed to be eating that much? And it took me a long time to wrap my head around, I'm supposed to be taking in that many calories. And it was the end of the day. And I'm looking at my food log going, what can I eat that has 500 more calories in it and 20 more grams of protein? Because I'm not hungry. I'm just not, like, I can't, once my body got used to that though, because I was skipping meals like during the day because I would eat breakfast and then I wouldn't eat again until dinner because I was like, I gotta do this. I have so much other stuff to do. So when I started eating better, that's when it all came together. And that's where I lost my weight. Like, yeah. But nobody had ever talked to me about that before.
Right. It's everybody thinks you can outwork out a bad diet. You cannot.
Nope.
It is impossible. Not enough hours in the day.
Nope.
And I think there's some things, like we've talked about this before. You look at somebody like Michael Phelps, and you're like, oh well, dude eats 6,000 calories a day and burns it off.
Yeah.
So I should be able to eat whatever I want and burn it off through exercise. And it's like, well, no, Michael Phelps probably burned 3,000 calories in the pool before you got up in the morning.
Yeah.
Right.
That's his job. That's his job. That's what he does all day.
Right.
The same thing with actors in Hollywood.
Yes.
They're getting paid to look that good, and they have an army of professionals helping them.
Oh yeah.
I had that many people helping me.
A cook,
I'd be
a trainer,
like completely.
hair and makeup.
Ugh.
Give it to you. Want to pay for it?
No, I do not.
No.
So,
and that's where the trick lies with what we try to do, and especially like the group idea. If you can get a whole group to pay attention at once, then you can help more people.
Yeah.
When they start needing more individual attention, that's where it becomes a different story. That's why the workouts work so well, because it's a group, everyone's getting coached.
Right.
But then when it comes to nutrition, if they need like that extra help, you're probably one who, if we have a workshop and talk about nutrition, you're going to be able to learn from that, take it home and execute.
Yeah.
And not everyone can.
Yeah.
So that's where sometimes people need like more one-on-one help or more, just more coaching in terms of nutrition that you don't get from just the stuff that Josh gives you, or that's the regular stuff. But
But like Kari, before I got here, I had no idea what macros were. I mean,
Right.
You see the back of the label, the grams, the calories, that kind of thing, but had no idea how all of that, the proportions you're supposed to eat and how much protein you're supposed to eat. And when they told me I needed to eat like 1,900 calories a day, I said, stop lying to me. What do you mean I eat more calories and I lose more weight? That's you're supposed to eat less and then you lose more, right?
Yes.
So see, here's the trick to that. People say move more and eat less, but what they don't say is more than what and less than what.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a lot more nuance to it than that. I was talking to Tab and Johnny on the last podcast. They both eat like 2,100 to 2,500 calories.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of in maintenance mode, not necessarily trying to lose weight right now, but still, like, they get a good amount of calories.
Right.
And we had a woman one time who she joined, and she was already doing a nutrition program that she'd like gotten from a nutritionist or something. Very specific. She was losing like 2 pounds a week.
Yeah.
She started working out. She stopped losing weight. I said, have you changed your nutrition at all since you started working out? She said, no. I said, okay. I said, give this a try. Try about 100 to 200 more calories per day. She lost like 12 pounds in the next 3 weeks.
Wow.
And then like 40 pounds over the next few months. So, unfortunately, she was really shy because I would take her story and shout it to everyone who keeps trying to eat less and less and less. Because you're just giving yourself less. You're giving yourself less fuel. You're giving yourself less of what your body needs. Every process in your body runs on this food you're putting in there.
Right.
So if you're not putting the right food in there, your body's not running right.
Right. Well, it's like, think about it. Think about what you're asking your body to do every day. And I feel like I added more calories like on days that I coach a lot. Like Mondays are a busy day. I work out. We have our staff meeting. Then we film the workouts for next week. Then I come in and I coach 3 sessions in the evening. On Mondays, I'm starving. And then Tuesdays, I'm starving. Because what are you asking your body to do? So I'm eating more to accommodate that because I'm getting a lot. And then in the summertime, I'm outside a lot. I'm swimming a lot. What are you asking your body to do?
Right.
And you can't expect your body to run on no calories.
Right.
You have to fuel it properly if you expect it to do all of these things.
Right.
And there are new studies coming out that talk about the importance of protein for weight loss. But it makes sense because fat and carbs are both energy sources.
Right.
Yeah.
When we gain too much weight, it's because we bring in too much energy. We don't expend it, so then our body stores it.
Right.
So the more your calories come from protein, the less of those energy sources you might not need you're getting. The protein also helps your muscles build. Lean muscle makes your metabolism run higher.
Right.
So it's just like now whenever I talk to new people, it's like there's all these things they want to try or things they think they should do. And I'm just like, let's start with, it's like, okay, where's your protein? All right, let's try and get that up to 100 grams.
Yeah.
What they don't know is that's not where we're going to stop, but it's a good starting point. Protein and sleep. Those are probably the best things you can do for yourself.
Yes.
And the things that people don't really do well on their own at all.
No.
We can get into a whole thing about sleep, but things I actually wrote down to talk to you guys about.
Okay.
This is what I told you. It's just going to become a conversation where we're like, what are we talking about? So how is it different? Is coaching different at all from what you expected?
Yes. Well, I don't know what I expected it to be.
You just wanted to do it, but you didn't know what was.
Yeah, and I feel like once we got through we were the training program.
Yeah, they were my first trainees. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know what we were doing then.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
So they worked it all out on us.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna
made
say,
it better.
Your program was built from the stuff we did wrong in her program.
Okay, because I'm sure we have opposite things to say. You go ahead.
So, I mean, I didn't know what to exactly, no, I didn't know what to expect at all. And, I was like, will I be good enough? And once we were done, I felt like Josh was, I feel like this was directed at me, but it might not have been me, but I feel like it was me. Like, oh, I didn't think all of you were going to make it through this program. I thought some of you would decide this isn't for you before the end. But I'm like, I am an introvert by nature. And when I first came here, I was very quiet and, I didn't live outside of myself. So, going through this program, I learned that I had to let the real tea out. Let the light shine. Let her be free. It's okay. And the members here are great, and don't worry about trying to be perfect, because I tried perfectionist, and no one is perfect, and things are going to get some things will not work when you walk in the morning. It's okay. We're just going to figure it out. But I knew that being a coach meant that I was going to at least touch one person's life and help make one person's life better. And I've done that, and that makes me so happy. That my full-time job, I work for the Department of Veterans Affairs. I process veteran disability claims, so I help people all day. But I don't get to interact with those people. I don't get to see their face when they get their award decision. I'm like, yes, I'm getting this big fat check. I don't get to see that, but here I get to see somebody walk in very quiet and reserved and thinking like, I'm not going to be able to do these things. And then they get weeks in and they are killing these workouts, and it's amazing. Or, they come in and I'll look at somebody and I'm like, wow, you are looking real lean today. And they're like, really? Yes, I love that. That brightens my day. So I didn't, becoming a coach, I didn't think, someone else's success would make me feel extremely happy.
Yeah.
I'm very happy for everybody's success here. And that's the one part I didn't really realize about coaching. I love that. That's the best part of it, I think. Okay, your turn.
Okay, my turn. So my training, I feel like, was completely different from yours. And I guess I was surprised, and I don't mean that it sounds like it's a negative, but it's actually a positive. I knew it would be a good program. I didn't expect to get that much support during training. You guys were so supportive. I felt like the amount of information that the things that I learned, I was really appreciative. I'm like, wow, you guys are fantastic.
And I'm so glad she feels this way, because some shit hit some fans halfway through her training, and I felt like we did not get to do as much as I wanted to.
We did, and I felt, and you guys were always checking in, making sure I was feeling comfortable, everything's going okay, and the other coaches were so supportive and welcoming. You guys were so helpful. And then when I started coaching on my own, I was like, there is no way that I'm going to remember all the stuff that I have to say, and I'm like, oh my God, I need to work on this. And it was every week I felt like I was stressed about something different. I was stressed about the timer. I was stressed about the music. I was stressed about cueing people. I was stressed about taking pictures during the sessions. And I'm like, how is this all going to fit together? And like I said, each week that went on, I got more and more comfortable, and I was working on, I'm like, okay, we're going to work on one thing at a time here. And it all kind of gelled together, and it's funny to look back to where, and I've been telling our new coaches this, I'm like, you're going to look back one day and you're going to laugh at this time because you're going to think, oh, like, why was I nervous? Why was I ever nervous? Because now I feel comfortable. And I think, like what you said, I knew that I would really like it. I didn't think that I would love it this much, almost like something was missing from my life, and this was it. Like, this is what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I'm 46. I'm 46 years old. I forget how old I am all the time.
That's
how
okay.
sad
So
is that?
Sometimes I think Kari is what was missing from my life.
Thank you.
I don't know how I should feel about that. Like, I'm sitting here, Shauna.
Wow.
You know what I'm talking about.
It hurts. But I feel like I'm 46 years old, and I finally figured out what I want to do with my life. Like,
it's never too
I'm
late.
an adult, but like, this is what I wholeheartedly feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And it makes me really happy. Yeah. So, and I just had somebody in, she was at the 10 o'clock session. You know who you are because I told you. She walked in, and I was like, she looks fantastic. And I hadn't seen her in like a month just because our schedules have been off. And I'm like, wow. And then I saw her working out, and I was like, do you remember like when you struggled with that, and look at how far you've come in this short amount of time. And it's really exciting.
Yeah.
And then yesterday we had a member who, when we were talking about our weekly wins, I'm just going to shout her out, Lindsay. I'm so proud of you. We're talking about our weekly wins. She's like, I'm down 25 pounds. I was like, you're what? Oh, we need to celebrate this. And she took that picture, and she's holding that 25-pound kettlebell like it's just a piece of paper. It's not even heavy because I'm so effing strong. I'm going to hold it up here like a boss. And so if you go find the picture online, she looks so confident and so happy, and we're so proud of her. So things like that, so exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know, it's funny. There are people like, we get a lot of older people here. We have a lot of members, women in their 50s. They don't think of themselves as being fit or as that even being a possibility.
Yeah.
And then, like, I'll watch somebody move, and I'm like, do you have any idea how good you actually do this stuff now? And they don't. I mean, a lot of times they don't. Like, I've seen some bear crawls and, that flat back. And I'm like, look, I could really put a drink tray on your back and you would not spill it. And
I know.
Things I think of when I'm like, such a nerd. Such a nerd. I have to modify my own workouts, so I will look at what other people are doing and remember it fondly.
Yeah.
Like,
stop.
Well, I remember when I could do that. But yeah, no. So that's where I was like, oh, look how beautiful that looks.
Yeah.
Look how great that form is. Like, I get really excited about that.
Yeah.
You guys might have already answered this one, but what is your favorite part of being a coach? You might have already answered it, kind of talking about
just seeing someone accomplish something they never thought they could. Yeah. Like, with a lot of people, it's like doing those real push-ups. And, you've done, everybody's done a sort of push-up. Sort of push-up. And you don't go all the way down.
Yeah.
And once you get that real, get that chest to the floor and come all the way back up from those toes. Yes. And it's such like a satisfying feeling knowing that you have done that. You've done something that you never thought you could. Yeah. And also, like, people, when they have that mindset shift, like after they've come in here and, most people come in here thinking, I want to lose weight. I want to be skinny. They have this image in their head of what they want to look like. And then, eventually that will change to, you know what, I don't need to necessarily look like that, but you know what I want to do? I want to deadlift 100 pounds or whatever, or I want to do these push-ups from the box or do chin-ups or things like that. And then they start working towards that goal.
The one that strikes me is always the mental aspect. I've done like chats or interviews with members before, and I came in because I wanted to lose 15 pounds. But what I actually ended up doing was like, oh, well, I lost the weight. But what really happened
Yeah.
was I got more confidence and I kicked this man to the curb. And like, you know, like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's really a lot of like, kind of like broken things in people's pasts, bad relationships, violence, you know, just things that like have people really downtrodden.
Right.
And when they come here and take something they can't do and turn it into something they can do,
Right.
all of a sudden that confidence and like they stand up for themselves, they say no, like that is the coolest thing to me.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that was a perfect segue, really, Teeha, because the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, and this was originally going to be my topic with Kari before the two of you decided that you couldn't do a podcast without each other.
We just preferred to be together.
Right.
Teeha collects friends.
Yeah, I do.
Teeha collects friends. She's like, I have to have this one.
It wouldn't be as amazing and magical without both of us together.
But because you guys did both start as members here, so like we talked before about like things that members struggle with, and I know Kari was like, I couldn't do this when I started either. That's not like, and I think the original title of your podcast was something like, I used to suck at that exercise too. Like,
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I wanted to like talk to you guys about that feeling, if you remember it, when you first come in and you're not sure about the exercises. I mean, you were working out before.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. So the bane of my existence was push-ups. I hated them. And we seem to do a lot of them here. So I'm like, okay, well,
I feel like everybody hates them.
When you're 85 and can still get off the floor, you'll thank us.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So coming in, started, doing the push-ups that I know how to do. It's like arms way out here, my chest gets halfway to the floor. It's like a struggle getting back up. And, Josh is always like, well, we'll do the modification until you can get down, go down. Well, I started from my knees, so I just did the push-ups from my knees. And then once I got that, it was down from your toes and then up from your knees. Always trying to get the form right. And then one day, like, we're gonna try it from the toes today. And I got my chest all the way to the floor. I got all the way back up. I said, what the hell? I just did a real push-up. It's amazing. And then, you start tweaking it, perfecting the form, and then, then you've got yourself like an amazing push-up. And then you get 5 amazing push-ups, and then you're doing 10. And then, so eventually I was doing all the push-ups from my toes, and I'm like, you know what? I see people doing it from the box, but the box is scary.
Why is the box scary?
I don't know why it's scary. It's not scary anymore, but it's just like it's that change. Like you get used to doing it this way, and now
it's your comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know what's really scary and why we don't do it here? We'll replace that box with a ball so that it's unstable.
Oh,
but that's why we don't do it there. Because see, like people think that sort of thing is cool, and it can be. But unstable exercises is a great way to injure yourself.
Yeah, yes, it is.
That would be a surefire. For me. Yeah. So then somebody said, what do you mean you can't do it from the box? You're strong AF. Get your feet on this box. So I'm like, okay, say a quick prayer. And I did it, and it was fine. And I'm like, you made this like such a big deal in your head. And now I love push-ups. I love like ISO push-ups, like holding it down here. Oh, I love a good ISO. And, pushing yourself up from that hold position. Never in my life did I think I would love a push-up.
Oh, that's the other thing that I get really excited about, because I've seen people and I'm like, oh, I remember you doing push-ups on your knees when you walked in there. And then I watch you hold an ISO push-up for like 15, 20 seconds. And I'm like,
right.
That hold is brutal.
That hold is brutal, but that's really good practice.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I love a good deadlift. Like, lifting heavy shit. Amazing. Yes. I just feel super confident and like, don't fuck with me when I, can I'm COVID screwed up my dead, so I gotta get back up to
Your original way.
my original way.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a
Back where it is.
PG-13 show, and Teeha just used our one F word.
Oh,
So-
I'm sorry.
No, it's
No,
okay.
Well,
I'm
now
teasing
I
you.
can't.
No,
use
you
one.
can't have it. I used it. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have to shove it down.
I don't know. I'd have to look up some rules. There's this little box I have
I'm not
to check
going
if
to.
it's.
I'm gonna keep
There's
it
this
in
little
check.
box I have to check if it's got explicit content.
Can you just bleep
And I
me?
never know how many. Like what
No,
exactly?
I'm gonna keep my language in check.
Just bleep. Well, bleep.
No, it's too good. I like
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I like lifting heavy things.
it.
It makes me I feel confident and amazing, and like you can't tell me anything
You can't mess with
because
me.
right.
Mhm.
And that's like me at the chiropractor. I'm like, I just want a deadlift.
Yeah.
It's like when my very first day at the chiropractor, it was like 3 goals that you have, and I was like, less pain, deadlifts.
But you have been doing deadlifts from the boxes, like we put
Yes.
the box, so you're not good, but you're still
Because we're watching the
so
range
it's
of motion.
step
Yes.
in the right direction.
Right.
Because at the bottom there, and you'll see a lot of people do this. You might, I see it in boot camp now, and I like want to cry because I'm so in tune to it because of what I've been going through with my back.
Yeah.
It's like that back is straight, and all of a sudden that back does this,
Yeah.
and right before that back does this is that's where their range of motion should stop.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But who can tell that when they're in the middle of a deadlift?
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But then if you put that little box to start your lift from,
Yep.
and it's the same thing. I know Josh will do this for some of the women, and it's not because they're women; it's because of the size of the body and the relative length versus the equipment or whatever.
Mhm.
He'll put the trap bar on risers
Mm-hmm.
for people, and it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You start that weight a little higher so that your back
Right.
is straight,
Yeah.
and you're lifting the whole time with proper form instead of doing this and
Yeah.
Yeah.
rounding out and screwing things up. So
Yeah.
someday I'll get my back fixed, and then Tia and I will.
Yeah, we're gonna lift some heavy
Yes.
stuff.
Some deadlifts. Yeah.
Practicing for lifting that dead body.
Don't say it out loud. Now there's evidence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeez.
Saved a life today. By accident.
Jeez.
No, she didn't say she was gonna kill the body.
I didn't say I killed the dead body.
But we don't need to talk about it.
No, so this was really interesting. This was a conversation I had with Josh in Chicago back in the day. We were talking about
boy.
like, I don't know, we were
Oh,
talking
boy.
about dating or something. So this was obviously we were both single at the time, or I think he'd broken up with this woman or whatever. But he was saying that the kind of woman he wanted was
Mhm.
not someone like super skinny, but he wanted a strong woman because he wanted someone who could carry him out of the woods if he got injured on a hiking trip.
Oh my god.
He's got one.
Oh my
Yeah.
god! Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that
Mission
was,
accomplished.
yeah. So that's when you bring up the dead body. That's what I'm not
Yeah.
even thinking you're trying to kill someone. I'm
Right.
thinking like
dead weight.
Tia's
Like,
trying to
if I need to,
be
Carry a lifeless body.
Yeah.
Because they're
protective
injured.
and
So-
take
yeah.
care of people.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Thanks for
That's how
cleaning
we're
up
gonna
for me.
Thanks for putting a positive spin on that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, heaven forbid, what if something happened to your husband? He's
Right.
kind of a big dude, right?
Yeah.
You'd want to be able to
Yeah.
help him out.
Hoist him up over
Yeah.
my shoulder.
Yeah.
Come on, little guy. Let's go.
Little guy.
Come on, little buddy.
That's
Go
what
ahead.
Carrie. That's what Carrie calls Josh, and it's my favorite. Little buddy.
Gets really upset. He pretends it doesn't bother him. I haven't said it in a while.
Oh, if he were really upset, you wouldn't still
I
be
know, I
working
wouldn't
here.
be here. I wouldn't have a job. Yeah, this is true.
Oh my god, I love you guys.
Oh,
But no. So I mean, I know we talked about this, and the reason we wanted this to be a topic because you were like, it took me a long time too. What we'll see with new people is
Yeah.
they'll be like, I'm on my 3rd workout and I still can't do this, and I'm like, it's a lot longer. Like it's
Yeah.
like the
well, and I get mad. Like I don't like having to modify, and I
Mm.
should have modified. Like I'm having trouble with like my calves and my hamstrings have been really tight again. So I should have taken, like I was doing the gorilla crawls yesterday, and I was doing gorilla crawls. And what should I have been doing? I should have been doing bear crawls.
Bear crawl.
I was like, nope, I'm going to do this gorilla crawl. And then I was sore, and are you listening? I should have modified. Modifying is hard though. because sometimes that pride gets in
Yes.
the way and takes up a lot of space. But when
not modifying is also probably why I have as many injuries as I do, that I now have to modify for because I physically can't do the other thing anymore.
But I remember when I first started, I've joked with members, like new members, I've said the first like 6 weeks I was here, we did so many lunges and squats. I was like, am I going to need a double knee replacement? I think I need a double knee replacement. Like I'm in my 40s and I need double knee replacement. They were so sore. And then as my range of motion improved, my strength improved. And I remember Matt coaching me in tall kneeling get-ups, and I got frustrated, not with him because I love Matt, frustrated with myself because I had to do lunges for a while until I could do tall kneeling get-ups without looking like I was going to tip over to the side every time. And then one day we were doing them and I was like, okay, I'm just going to try it. I'm like, holy crap, I'm doing it. I can do tall kneeling get-ups. Prisoner lunges were another one.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap, I could do prisoner lunges. And even every once in a while now, like if you see me doing the mobility, when I demo the mobility, I'm a little proud because I can do. Yeah. I'm like, they're like, well, I remember when I couldn't do these prisoner lunges and, you know, like. Yeah.
And lunges, so think about what are common exercises that most people are familiar with, right? Squats, lunges, deadlifts, push-ups, bench press.
Yeah.
Right.
Because those are common, people think they should be easy.
Right.
Like I'm working with, you know, my back with my chiropractor and I'm like getting better at my squats. And I was like, I still can't do lunges though. And he goes, why are you even trying? He goes, lunges are really difficult. It takes all of this balance and stuff. He's like, you shouldn't even be trying. Like lunges are real hard work. And because we're so familiar with them, they think they should be easy.
Right. Yeah.
And they're not.
No.
They're difficult.
Yeah.
They're also so much easier to do when you're already warm.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I said is like, you know, we've kind of changed up like that, the beginning of our workout and have some more high intensity stuff there. And what I found is I can start on a station with lunges now. Because when we were only doing kind of like stretching and stuff in our warm-ups, I was still cold enough when I got to station number 1 that my range of motion on a lunge would be like half an inch.
Yeah.
When we're warm going into that, it's like, oh, I can get fairly deep, at least for me. It's not super deep, but I can get a lot more out of it by going into that station warmer.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing I think is important with lunges is like, don't just randomly try to do a bunch of lunges if you're not properly warmed up or, Yeah. Like anybody can pretty much drop a squat anywhere, but lunges, you want to be nice and toasty.
Yes.
Toasty, not toasted.
Toasty lunges.
I mean,
That's what I'm gonna be
those
thinking
toasted
of.
lunges you get pretty low
Right.
too.
Toasted lunges.
Yeah, get those joints all lubricated.
Toasty lunges. I like it. I'm gonna write that on the board next time.
Toasty lunges.
Toasty lunges.
Oh my God, when I'm in real good shape and can squat real low, you do not want to see me at a wedding when that song comes on.
Get low.
Get low.
Low. Yeah. Oh.
Drop it like it's hot.
Yep. Ass is hitting the floor.
Yes.
Yeah, skirt. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm that guy. I'm that guy. Not right now, but I will be again someday.
You will be. You're working your way back to it.
But so it's always funny to me. Somebody like, oh man, like I've been here for 3 months and I still can't do this. I'm like, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but I can't do that one, and it's been 9 years. Like Ray and Josh and I were talking about this. Coach Ray, and we were doing his, you know, because he's still training right now. So we were doing his session, and we were talking about different exercises and like form that people have, and it's like sometimes it's physical, or like their bodies literally can't do it differently yet, or they don't realize it. So we're talking about shoulders down in a way.
Yeah.
Josh still. Every time I do a boot camp and Josh is coaching, you better believe I'm going to hear, Shauna, get your shoulders down. I'm like, dang it.
Yeah.
I was literally, we were doing TRX rows, and I'm chanting in my head, shoulders down, shoulders down, shoulders down. Josh walks by, and he just adjusts my shoulders and keep your shoulders down. I'm like, dang it. So, like, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, like, you're still going to struggle with stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there's still things in
I've been doing that for 9 freaking years.
Yeah.
It is a process. Like, it's
like every time I do my push-ups, I have to think, tuck your tailbone.
That's a big one. I tuck my head under, and last time you coached me and you were like, lift your head up. I was like, what? Oh, so I can breathe. That's a great idea. Thanks for that tip.
Well, your head should be part of that full body plane.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what are you doing to your neck?
Yeah.
I'm a turtle.
Yeah.
Every time I have to consciously be like, unturtle your head.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Unturtle yourself.
Yeah.
We'll get you a neck brace. We'll get everybody a neck brace so that when they are moving in here, their neck stays still.
Yes.
But that's essentially, that's how you want your head positioning to be for most exercises, is like you have a neck brace on so that your head and body are moving on the same plane.
Yes. Yeah. And I can coach people on that, and I can see it in other people. But when you're doing it yourself, you have, like, it's a conscious, like, every time I have to say, unturtle your head. Like, that's the first thing I say to myself.
Although sometimes Josh tells me to lower my hips, and I'm like, are you sure it's just not because my butt's so big?
I do that too. I'm like, you do know I got a lot of junk in the trunk.
Are you sure it's not just the junk in the trunk? But I am
working with a lot.
So I think you guys will appreciate this. My first time seeing my chiropractor, he did an X-ray, and he's trying to explain the curvature of my spine at the bottom. And he used a really big word, and I went, wait a second. Is this butt wink? So if you guys know, not everyone listening may know, but at the bottom of a squat, if you go too low, your spine, your butt will kind of tilt out, your spine like over curves, and instead of straight, you get this like over, just really over arch.
Yes.
And they'll call that a butt wink because your butt like winks out. I have perma butt wink.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that's one of the things they're working on at the chiropractor with my spine, is getting that.
So you're walking around and your butt is winking at everybody.
Yes, my butt is winking.
That's all I can think about right now. I'm trying to be like serious here, but
it's winking at everyone intentionally, but it winks at you on purpose.
It does.
But so that I'm like defending myself. I'm like, I can't help it. It's permanent.
Permanent? Like,
no,
not going to.
He can adjustments.
Okay.
Because it's essentially like if you're watching instead of listening, it's like if this is my spine and I got to do it this way, the bottom, like the sacrum, the tailbone, I like curve it out like this, and that's what makes my butt. So I got enough junk in the trunk as it is, but now the junk is pushing out.
It's pushing out.
So if I'm doing like a push up or anything where it's like the hips are up, it's harder to get them to come down because that spine is curved there.
Okay.
So it's literally curving the opposite direction of what we're trying to get it to go. I can do some things about it, but not every, there's certain. Yeah. So then I have to think about your hips. Is this part tucked in? Right. And if that part's tucked in, that's the part I can do something about. And if the rest of it's just my junk in my trunk hanging out there doing its thing. But yes, mostly. Are my hips too high, or is that just the junk in my trunk?
Right. That's what I'll have to ask. Are my hips too high, or is it just the junk?
Extra. Oh my gosh.
More cushion for the pushing.
That's a different podcast.
It is.
That's a totally different podcast.
And next week.
And now we're going to move on.
But anyway,
okay,
because we're getting
off track here.
We are.
Not terribly, but I really like if somebody new or somebody who doesn't come here, somebody who doesn't work out, somebody who's new and thinks that they suck at everything, is listening to this. What do you want them to know? That's really the important part here.
Yeah. You have to, everybody starts from the beginning. Like everybody that walks in here basically has no idea what they're doing. So you're not alone. Don't feel like you have to come in here. Like the people that say, I'm not in shape, so I can't work out. I don't understand that.
How you going to get in shape?
Right.
You don't work
so
out.
I can't work out because I'm not in shape enough. But I'm like, well, how are you going to get in shape if you don't start working out?
Makes no sense.
And that's where, because I'm going to answer all these questions because I have to.
Okay.
That's one of the beauties about the structure of boot camps, because you're at your own station and it's time based. You're not. I remember we've had people a couple times. They feel like they're going to hold other people back. I'm like, you're not holding anybody back.
Right.
There's a 40-second timer. The person next to you can get 50 reps in, and you can get 5 in. You didn't hold them back at all. They're doing their thing. You're doing your thing.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be in that great shape because you don't have to keep up with anybody but you. So you can come in here and be completely out of shape. Get winded after 2 reps, and you still did a great job. And next week, maybe you'll get winded after 4 reps.
Right.
And that's progress. And then in 2 years, somebody's going to come in and stand next to you and be like, wow, I wish I could do what they can
Right.
do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they have no idea that you started barely being
Right.
able. That's,
Yeah.
you know, that's, I
Yeah.
mean, that's the other thing that's tough out here.
Yeah.
New people will be like, well, I was trying to keep up with the person next to me.
Yeah.
I'm like,
No.
she's been doing this for 5 years.
Right.
No.
No.
That's
Like,
what I tell new people
Yeah.
when they come in. You do not have to keep up with anybody in here.
Mhm.
If you feel like you need to take some reps off, if you need to stop and get some water, please do that.
Yes.
Don't push yourself beyond your limit trying to keep up with the person next to you
mhm.
because they have been doing this a lot longer than you.
Yes.
So don't worry about it. It's kind of like having those little horse blinders on
Mhm.
sometimes and just,
Mhm.
focus on what you're doing. If you need help, you need to see what somebody else is doing because you
Right.
don't know.
Oh, I forgot what the coach said. Let me
Yeah.
look at you.
That's fine, but don't try and keep pace with somebody else.
Yeah.
You just keep your own pace. And even now with the members that are here for a long time, if they have their Curofit on or something, and
Mhm.
I see that they are really high in the red,
Mhm.
Yeah.
please stop and get some deep breaths in.
Yep.
You
And
don't have to push the pace all the time.
I think of another part of that. We all have weeks where you have more energy. You might have a week where you have a lot going on and you didn't get enough rest, or
Yeah.
your eating is off, or you have a lot of stress and you can barely get yourself here. It's okay. You don't have to go 100%
Right.
balls to the wall every time you are here. And then there are people that would be here 2 times a day if they could be here. You don't need to be here
Right.
every day. Your body needs rest.
Right.
And I've never seen anyone who comes 2 times a day for a long amount of time where it ended well.
Yeah.
Every time, either an injury or just to get worn out.
Yeah.
Like the end result has never been like something that I wanted to be like, yeah, everybody should do that. Like,
Yeah.
no, like it just doesn't seem
Yeah.
to end well. So here's an interesting question. Carrie, what exercise do you think you do best? I know we have a lot of exercises. You can think of just the simple ones, or
I'm pretty proud of my tall kneeling get-ups.
proud of those tall kneeling
I'm so
get-ups,
proud of my tall kneeling
which you
get-ups.
used to not even be able to do.
Yeah.
That's one interesting key.
Yeah.
So what exercise do you still struggle with the most?
This is easy. Push-ups. She already used up our one swear word. I effing hate them. I effing hate them, but I practice them, and this is what I've told members. I practice them every day, and I started off practicing them from stairs.
Okay.
And then I would drop down a stair every week, and I would force myself, like every time I walked past my steps, I would carry in laundry, put my laundry basket down, and I'm going to do 5. And I got myself to the point that I was doing like 5 sets of 5 every day, and I forced myself to do push-ups every day from home, and I'm still working on them, and I still hate them. They're my least favorite, but they're the ones I practice the most.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Same questions for you, Tia. The workout, the exercise you think you do the best, and then the one that you still struggle with.
I think my push-ups are the best.
Oh, hell yeah, they are.
The ones I still struggle with, we don't do them over here, but the chin-ups.
Yeah.
I'm going to get that unassisted chin-up, I swear.
Okay, something that's a little...
over here.
No, well, I was just thinking, the percentage of the population that can do unassisted chin-ups is very, very minor, so something that's a little more...
You're going to be in that population.
Thank
okay?
you.
You're going to be there.
A little more...
That makes me feel a little bit
Faith in you.
better.
Just a little less challenging. She went right for the,
like top-notch.
Like, I'm not a very good F1 driver. Like, I'm not good at being the best in the world yet. Like,
like, oh, I know. The slider glute bridges.
Okay.
Like the most challenging one where you go from your straight legs all the way in.
Yeah.
Oh, that kills my hamstrings. And I got a lot of stuff to lift up back here. So that is something that's like the most challenging thing for me.
Okay.
like
doing that form of it.
So
Yeah.
did either of you guys catch the point that I was trying to make with asking you both those questions? It's okay if you didn't. I'm going to share.
Okay.
No, please
Please
share.
share.
So you both have different things that you're good at and different things that you struggle with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally, your weakest is her strongest.
Yes.
Right? So you've been here for 3 years. You've been here for 5 years,
Mhm.
both work out consistently.
Yes.
Not the same.
Right.
Right.
Not good at the same things. Don't
Right.
have the same strengths. Don't
Yeah.
have the same weaknesses.
Yeah.
So everybody, not going to have the same strengths, not going to have the same
Right.
weaknesses. There might be something you get really good at really fast. There might be something else you struggle with for months or years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's different. We all have, like you said, your own strengths, your own weaknesses. Some of your weaknesses will soon become strengths. But you just have to keep working at it.
And some things, when you're talking about the hamstrings on that particular exercise,
Yes.
there might be a little PT or different stretches that you need to do, because that sounds
Right.
more like a muscle thing than a just Tia's not good at this exercise
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
Look at Tia being actually good at everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, chin ups. I'm gonna get there.
You're gonna get there.
I'm gonna get to that chin
there.
up.
You're gonna keep practicing.
I
and
am.
You're gonna get it.
You guys ever hear the story of the time I was upset I couldn't do chin ups and Josh made a comment about losing weight?
No.
I cried.
I think I did.
You've probably heard this. He didn't mean it the way I came out. This was back in Chicago. We were training for a Tough Mudder. So when we started training for a Tough Mudder, the exercise has changed. We were doing strength training designed for muscle gain,
Okay.
which meant I stopped losing weight.
Mm-hmm.
I had been working on losing weight for 3 years. So it was a very different mind shift.
Mm-hmm.
So we were doing all of these things, and I was getting stronger, but I made a comment about not being able to do chin-ups. And I was 190. And he was just like, well, yeah, you probably need to be lighter for that. And I just bawled. He didn't, he was just talking about
Didn't mean it
right.
that
in
way.
technical terms,
Right. Yeah.
the people who can do the most chin-ups are the ones that have the least amount of
Less
weight to pull up.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he didn't mean it in any sort of negative way. It was just that combination of, because of what we'd been doing, I'd stopped losing weight for the first time in 3 years. And then the idea of this thing that I really want to do, I can't do because I'm not losing, or, I need to lose weight for.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it was, but I always think about that with chin-ups. It's just the idea of
Yeah. If you're lighter, it's easier to pull up.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm just
So-
gonna have to get stronger. That's all. That's
Tia
all
goes,
that is.
She's I like my body the way it is. I'm just gonna have to get stronger.
I mean, there's always room for improvement, but I love where I am right now.
There you go.
I mean, I am.
Which I'm really happy for you about, because
I've grown
Yes.
into feeling all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's perfect, because this is another. You guys are so good at segues. You guys are so good at segues. Except that I'm gonna have to cut this in half, and so it's not gonna be a segue anymore. But that's fine. And that is where we will pick up on our next episode of Fit Life Journeys, as Coach Teeha discusses how she went from just wanting to be skinny to learning how to love being strong and healthy. Plus, these two coaches will talk about the difficulty of taking care of themselves and their own fitness and health while juggling all of their mom responsibilities. That's all in our next episode of Fit Life Journeys.